Hello, shippers. Welcome to the show. We put together a live show that was kind of crazy and last minute and thought we'd share it in its entirety. So please get on the love ship with Rob Paulsen, Brad Norman. Oh my God, I love these people so much. Ben Jackson, who you're going to learn to love too. And then later on, surprise guest NFL star Tyrell Crosby.
It's like being on Ellen all of a sudden.
Except that I treat you guys so much better, right, Ben? We'll get to that.
I don't know what's under my chair.
Ellen or mushrooms. Either way, it's good.
If you have mushrooms.
That's the only way I will go on Ellen.
Yeah.
Come on, Robbie. Let's see some of those moves. I like it, Ben. You got
I have
the
a doctor's
beard.
note.
You got
I don't
the
have to do
beard.
anything else.
Just the beard dancing.
Doing the pony because I'm old.
Oh, that's a dance a moose would make.
I mean, what a moose dancer.
Sign language.
Oh, good. Mr.
Welcome
Moose.
to the Ship It Show. We are so excited for this Ship It live show. We just decided to do this yesterday because an edit wasn't ready, and I couldn't be more grateful that I stacked the room with the most gorgeous, smart, supportive, amazing guys. I'm obsessed with all of you. It's like if this was the dating game, like from back in the day, I don't know
Oh,
who I'd pick because you're all just so glorious. So
Well,
I'm
you're
just gonna,
both.
you know what? I was staring at
Which
two
one
of
of
you.
you?
I was staring at two of you. So let's introduce everybody, and I'm gonna start with Robbie P. Robbie, please say hello to the world.
hello, world. It is I, Tara Strong's, 12th in line for her adoration. Honey, you're so out of my league, but thank you very much for allowing me to.
I don't think that's true. In fact, I think we've tricked you to come onto the Ship It show where one of you will marry me by the end of the show.
Honey, like I
So-
said, I'd be all over you like white on rice, but
Okay.
I'm old.
Well,
But
we'll see
thank
how the
you.
show goes.
It's a
We'll
pleasure
see
to
if
be here.
we'll see if I choose you in the Ship It show dating game I created. I hear a laugh from Brad Norman. Brad, say hi to the world.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brad. Hello. Hi, how are
Hey,
you?
Brad.
Brad Norman, you are like pretty new to people knowing who you are, even though you've been in the business your entire life. But for those who don't know, that's my moose, Hokey Smokes. Hi, Brad Norman.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, buddies? All right, yeah.
And the third man who might marry me today is Ben Jackson. Say hello to
Hi, world.
the
And
world. Ben, for those of you who don't know, is not someone that works in the booth with us yet. I'll probably cast him in something if he accepts my proposal today. But Ben has had the real pleasure of being a good friend of mine.
You hear that,
I'm so
Ben?
sorry.
Your sad card's on the line.
It is a joy. It's
Yeah.
like this is really like how the union is going to love to hear about how this whole thing started.
Yes.
Right? Like if you marry me, I'll get you in the union.
Yep.
It's like my green card.
It's like the 1940s. You run down to Central Casting in the Max Factor building.
No, I'm with Strong Kids. See, I'm with Strong. You just let me in here. See.
Anyone for a bassoonist? No? I'll be back tomorrow.
I could marry a bassoonist. That'd be hot. We're
Well,
just
sure.
waiting. No, we'll when Greg shows up to the show that he co-hosts but does nothing else for other than show.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Your
Yes.
phone is sideways. Your phone is sideways.
That's my day today. I mean,
No,
I'm
the day
pretty-
your day today is making everyone wait for your burrito.
I can't even turn it the other way. I'm trying to, and it won't even.
Oh my
do
God! You know what? I just decided he's not on the show today. I'm muting him.
That's how fast it can happen, folks. That's how fast it can happen. You fall out of favor, you get kicked to the wayside.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
want to let the world know who Ben Jackson is to me. He is absolutely one of my dearest, closest friends. I treasure you so much. We met on Twitter. We were both very vocal about a certain president that we really hated. And Ben was instrumental in putting together some pretty amazing people to fight for important causes. And he's a hero and tireless and works every single day. And sometimes comes with me to Comic-Cons where I can stick Post-its all over his head and body and
Yeah, why
make
not?
him work for me. He also runs my pro page of my Facebook. So when y'all are telling me how much you're in love with me and want to make sweet love to me, you're actually talking to Ben, who
And I'm single. So
And Ben was actually the one who filmed our little snippets. If you've seen some of the little animated parts of the Ship It show together, the salad. I think it was actually Ben that dropped the salad.
I did drop that salad,
Yeah.
but it wasn't my room, so it was fine smelling it up with all that dressing on Greg's floor. It was fine.
Yeah.
I was good with that.
Oh, did you want to say something, Greg?
I was gonna say all those times we've been, I've been direct messaging you, and I've been like, you've been telling me to take my clothes off and everything. That's been Ben.
Yeah.
It has been. It has been. And
Heck,
this is the most I've seen you dressed on the show, so I'm
wow.
kind of impressed.
Ben, by the way, who lost his Twitter account fighting Nazis. There you go. There you go, Greg. I'm so
Best
glad
way
you're
to do
here.
it.
No,
Rubbing
that's
it
why
in.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're here
Boy.
to show nipple.
That's
Ben and I have only recently become friends. And what
Yeah.
I like to say is that despite his best efforts, he's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I normally don't hang around with lower level celebrities like Brad, but
Yeah,
I'm
I mean-
happy to have him in the crowd.
And
So,
I get
it's
that.
good.
I mean, and me in obscurity, it's like
Right.
I'm like a cat in a windowsill, just
Yeah.
warming my belly in the unknown.
My
Aw.
goal is to basically hang out with people who 20 to 27% of the populace knows their name. And so I
Right.
feel like you're right.
Right.
This
That's
is
why
kind
we're,
of
that's why
nice
we're all
yeah.
here with you.
That's
today.
the cap. Yeah, that's
Right,
the cap.
right.
Low.
And Greg,
Yeah.
I just decided that today's show we're gonna pick my next soon-to-be ex-husband. So you get to pick from the panel of who I'm gonna marry today. If you can get off your phone for 2 seconds. Okay,
Wow.
so
I'm not on the phone. I'm looking at our live stream on YouTube
and
right now.
and your burritos. Okay, cool. Listen, I want to start with everyone's origin story, and I love origin stories. Robbie, you are so beloved in the world. Millions and millions of lives you've touched. I just want you to know, like, the universe, pretty happy with you. You've brought a
Oh.
lot of joy to a lot of people, and that's what we're here for. And you really are, always have been such a mensch, such a talent. Can you tell the world how you got started and how you got to where you are today,
Well,
and why you're in love with me? Those three
oh,
questions.
well, first, anybody with a pulse and eyeballs, how could you not? Helen Keller would be, Stevie Wonder would be in love with you. Thank you very much for your kind words, but you are cut from precisely the same cloth, my dear. You're all about joy and happiness. And the fact is that what we all do for a living, I kind of consider myself a blue collar worker in the dream factory, and my job, we're in the happy business. There is no downside. When we do what we do and people maybe don't know who we are, once they find out, it's just utter joy. And what better way to move through life? You're working with people you would choose to have in your life. You get paid well to do essentially what got me in trouble in 7th grade. And I'm working every day and nobody cares what I look like. And in our business, I mean, you look fabulous, irrespective of which side of the camera you work. But for journeyman actors, as many we all know, but people out there may not, it's really about, do you fit the suit? Do you look like you could be the husband of the girl they hired to be the daughter, whatever. So to not have been limited by that from the mid 80s till right now, even though I did quite a bit of TV movie stuff in those days, it was St. Elsewhere and MacGyver and Hill Street. But my goodness, what a boon to be an actor and be limited only by your creativity and the kindness of people to hire you. In terms of my beginnings, I was born in Motown. I'm a proud son of Detroit, Michigan. I grew up, the only two things I wanted to be in my lifetime was a hockey player and an actor. I learned very early on, playing people from your neck of the woods, that I had neither the talent, temperament, nor dental insurance to make a fucking nickel as a hockey player. So the other thing that really floated my boat was performing, not animation specifically, and I think that's probably true for you. I moved out here ostensibly to do live action. I was a singer who went on the road doing music and theater, and moved out here in 1978 to ply my trade. And about 8 or 9 years after I got here, doing a lot of on-camera commercials, probably 40 of them, pile of radio stuff, half a dozen features, episodic television, the opportunity presented itself to audition for animation. And I love cartoons like everybody, but I want to work. I love to work. And man, am I glad not only that opportunity opened up, because I'm having the pleasure of meeting nice new friends now, but you and Greg have been deeply important to me and continue to be. You know, we're dear friends. We've helped each other through some gnarly shit, in addition to being involved in things that make millions of people happy. We don't draw them. We don't write them. It is a deeply collaborative effort.
But for some reason, when Yakko shows up,
Look what happens. It's just marvelous. Or, hey, God, no, and we all have that. We all have that ability. So it has all conspired to lead me here today at your lovely request. And honest to God, you guys, there is no better way to be able to move through life than to work with your friends, make money, and make people happy. So thanks for asking.
Robbie P. He's for sure the one I'm going to pick unless anyone else can do better than that.
Okay.
Are you guys working together right now? Or are you both on the... Is that still going?
No,
I don't know. You guys... Ninja Turtles, yeah.
No, I think there's a new maybe version in the works. Probably. Why not? I mean, that franchise is pretty much bulletproof.
Right? Imagine the guy first pitching that. They're turtles.
Yeah. I used to think of, well, when that happened, I was working on a show with Townsend Coleman, who was Michelangelo on the original show. And we got a call from Stu Rosen, who did the pilot. And we were working together on Fraggle Rock, an animated version of Fraggle Rock for NBC Saturday morning. So that was 1986, maybe 87. And I'm not a big comic book guy, but I was familiar with this underground Ninja Turtles thing. But honest to God, you guys, we've all been involved in things that have become enormously successful, and conversely involved in things where we thought, oh my God, my ship has come in. This is the show. And then crickets. It's so difficult to divine how it's going to work. But Ninja Turtles is pretty unique. I think I now have been involved in 3 iterations. I was Raphael in the original show. Greggy and I did a killer version of it from 2012 to 2016 for Nick. And then I directed the immediate version after that called Rise of the TMNT. I was the voice director on that and did a couple of, bad guys. But man, what a franchise. It's just, yeah. So your question, I don't know if they're doing, I think, oh God, what's his name?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Thanks, buddy. I was going to say Jonah Hill. Yeah, Seth Rogen's doing a feature for Paramount, right? Because it's owned by Paramount and Viacom. So, yeah, there's another
version. It's a version where all the Ninja Turtles are stoned. It's going to be rad.
Right? It is.
No, for real? Is animated?
No, I think it's live action, isn't it, Greg?
Live action stoned turtles.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already stoned.
Yeah,
Really,
that's a very small
not that
shift.
much of a stretch.
Listen, you think about Kevin and Peter when they pitched this, a couple of knuckleheads from, Maine? And they borrowed they borrowed money from their families to make their little comic book. And
there's actually a building here in Massachusetts where they started. And it's Massachusetts in Northampton. You actually go to the building and it has TMNT up on the top, like where the gargoyles are.
Oh my God.
Just a couple of bong water drinking downies.
Right.
I love that. So funny.
Kevin, when I last spoke to Kevin Eastman about a year and a half ago, I asked him, I said, how many action? I mean, what? He said, to date, about $6 billion in revenue. I mean, it takes Tara 5 years to make that much money.
Amazing.
Did you know that our Ninja Turtles version made more money than actually Nickelodeon was worth? The Ninja Turtles version 2012. They bought it for, I think, like 80 million.
60 million US dollars. And you know what, Greggy? If I had known that, I mean, Tara's got that under the front seat of the Bentley, but had I known that, we really could have done some cage rattling and I'll say, look, I'll find 10 people with $6 million US, and I'll put it together. Are you kidding me? 60 million bucks. They made their first shipment of toys made that back.
There was a time where a toy sold every 30 seconds during the 2012 Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
I mean, this kind of stuff, it kind of makes me mad a little. It doesn't matter if you've been playing a character forever, you're constantly auditioning for roles you already had, roles that you helped, create a buzz about or whatever. And it's true, like the studios make so many millions, like, hey, you can do it for scale or they're gonna replace you. Like,
Totally.
thanks.
They
You know,
did.
a lot of people don't, they don't realize
yes,
that
you
there's
did.
not the only reason there's a star system for animation people is because of the fans and the internet. So thank you, fans.
100%, sweetie. This is so fan driven, but the other side of that coin is that we love that.
Oh my God.
So grateful, and I cannot wait to get back on the road because I've been able to keep working. We all have, but going out there, whether people buy a damn thing is not the issue. To be able to meet thousands of people from around the world and find out the extent to which our respective characters have connected with people on a profoundly deep level, that things that I would never have had the good fortune to know were it not for these opportunities.
You know what?
Oh.
This is a whole other discussion. I want to get into some Comic-Con stuff with you in a minute because you're so right how important it is, and hearing everyone's stories and how much we've touched lives. It's so beautiful. So save that because we're going to come back to the con story in a minute. I just want to, when you spoke about shows that you thought were going to be big hits that didn't quite make it there, for sure where I met Brad, the new Rocky and Bullwinkle adventure show on Amazon, which is one of the best animated
it's really
projects
good.
I've ever seen. People, I don't know, they just didn't seem to know about it because if they did, it was a pretty extraordinary show. And Brad Norman, you were so brilliant in it. He was already cast when I showed up, and they did like a what do you call those auditions where you have to see like a chemistry read.
Yeah.
And anyway, you were so impressive from the start, but I also want to get into your origin story and how you got to where you got today.
I grew up, I was born in Warren, Michigan, not far enough. Yeah. I was born in Warren, and I grew up in Centerline, which is just on the border of the city.
I know right where that is.
I was going to say, Rob, you could draw it from memory, probably.
My cousins went to Crestwood High School in Dearborn Heights.
Oh, I'm sure we like wrestled them or lacrosse or something like that, I got my start in commercials, and I studied at Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. I did everything there but improv comedy and musical theater, and that's exactly where I went to work when I graduated. I moved to Chicago, and I started working on Second City house teams, and then I started working in musicals. I was doing at one point I managed to quit my temp job to do 3 different acting jobs all week long. I do Shakespeare. I know, right? I do Shakespeare in the morning for high school kids at the Ivanhoe, and then I do a musical 8 times a week, and then I do late night improv shows all weekend. So, it was cool that I got to do that. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I gotta say, I not a day goes by that I still don't feel like the new guy. As far as cartoons go, like, yeah, man, I've always loved cartoons. I've always loved animation. I've always loved all the characters. They all touched me in lots of awesome ways, and helped develop the person I am today. But when it came to Bullwinkle, I'm a character actor. I'm 6'3" with a face for radio, and
says the man who has a Progressive commercial on the air right now.
Don't
make me share my screen.
When I get anything across my desk or I audition for anything, I always think of it in terms of playing a character. And what I didn't know was when I started working with folks like Tara and like a couple other people that came in and out of the show, and the more people that I met in voiceover, that it's whether they nomenclate it like that or not, that is their approach. They don't think of it in terms of like I'm doing a voice. They think of it in terms of I'm playing a character.
Boom. Acting is acting, isn't it?
Yeah. And I agree with Rob. You know, the extra cool thing about voiceover is that the concept of type is removed.
Yes.
You know, so you can be,
How freeing is that? Isn't
right.
it, Brad? My goodness, the opportunity, and when you have someone like Tara, who is so freaking versatile and can do stuff, you know, every actor says, "Oh, I can do this. Oh, I want to be a bad guy. I'm a good guy. I can do Shakespeare. I can do Neil Simon." Of course, we all think we can. But when you're talking about $50 million of someone else's money, they have the right to make some decisions. But when you turn Tara loose, or Gray or Tress, Jesus, it's just magical.
Yeah.
And you're right, man. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's rare in this industry to like not have type stirred into the soup, you know.
Totally.
And with voiceover, like I said, I mean, you know, you could be as big as me and play a character that's that big, you know, or vice versa. And I really love that. I love that challenge of it. You know, playing Bullwinkle. I mean,
and by the way, you kill it. You just kill it, bro.
Yeah, you really do. No, you really do.
No, you're really good.
You know, Robbie and I have seen a lot of people copy a sound but not incorporate their essence, and you really got that down.
Yeah, and that's difficult. Yeah. When you're trying to pick up the mantle of an iconic character, Jimmy Cummings is really good at that. I'm not. I'm not I can create my own stuff, but when you're dealing with a very precious character.
Yeah.
And millions and millions of people know that character. So like Tara said, if you don't have the essence and the just the sort of general soul of Bullwinkle, it doesn't matter whether it's a cartoon or a David Lean movie. It's about authenticity. So you freaking killed it. And it's difficult to pick that up.
That means so much, really, honestly. I mean, because you know, again, like I auditioned maybe 300 times for various voiceover projects. And
I wanted to tell everyone, because people are really there's a lot of hopefuls watching our show. Brad Norman had was it 300 animated auditions before a book?
At least, yeah. I mean, I mean,
don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, Bullwinkle was the first thing that really came through, and you're right, Rob. It's like, you know, when you get these legacy characters, and it's like, you know, where first of all, there's all this like there's all this hallowed ground with them. You know, there's all this like sanctity.
Yes.
With the characters, and sanctity and comedy don't normally
not necessarily
make good bedfellows, you know. No. So it's like, you know, so it was. I mean, I walked a line for sure, you know. But I found it easier than I thought it would be because I was really lucky because we recorded as a group, which
so fun.
Always better.
It's always better, you know, because you're getting that like, and plus with Rocky and Bullwinkle, you want that like
intrepid,
you want to be able to hear when I'm telling you you're really dumb,
right? You know, and it's like, and most of the time when people ask me how to do it or like how to approach a line, I always tell them like, you have to think about who you're talking to.
Sure.
You know, like, are you talking to your best friend? Or are you talking to some stranger on the street? There's a different tone. There's a different like priority there.
Well, don't you think, Ben, all of you, don't you guys think that axiom goes, a high tide raises all boats? I am way better because the people in my life at work and personally, but Greg and Tara and the people with whom we've all had the great good fortune to work make us better. I'm better because Tara is with me. I'm better when I can work with Greg. And
I don't know if we can really put Greg in that.
Well, that's true.
Well, yeah, no, I'm in the much better category. If you work with me,
there you go. But I think that's absolutely true. I'm grateful that we have the sort of gig that doesn't from which we're precluded performing as a result of COVID. But man, oh man, I would always prefer to be with the other actors. It's even if the stuff that we're riffing doesn't end up on in the script.
Yeah,
the energy ends up on the screen, and it is absolutely 100% imperative to me if it's doable to have everybody together.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like we were lucky. I feel like I was lucky to walk into that situation and have like sort of a radio, because it felt to me more like theater,
Totally.
which is kind of where I came from, so it felt more
Me
like
too. Yeah.
a play,
Mhm.
or like
We
an
did
ensemble
another show
performance.
together after that one, Brad Norman. We did another one together.
We did
know.
we did Woody Woodpecker shorts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Was
you
that
got to
Bowser?
play.
Was
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah, that was Bowser. Bowser was he just voiced Woody in that one, didn't he? Or-
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he voiced a bunch of other characters. but
Bowser
yeah, he
does
was in it.
every voice.
He's
he's
so insanely talented.
It is, and he's the sweetest guy. Isn't there something else, Brad, that you noticed? I have done a lot of on camera, a lot of theater, all that stuff years ago, but I'm telling you what, the most gifted, unpretentious, willing to help actors are voice talent, without question.
For sure. Well, it's
I-
because, like what you said,
would
you're
agree
not.
with
It
that.
doesn't matter what you look like. So
Right,
there's less people in there that are just there to be famous, or just because they're a pretty face. There's so much more
Exactly.
to why we're all there. Speaking of why we're all here, I don't want to ignore you, Ben. Your story is unique. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about how you got so involved, and just a little origin story of Ben.
Sure. Well, I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, to parents of Western Michigan, graduates of Western Michigan University.
Shut up. Are you kidding
It's
me? I didn't
amazing.
know
It's
that.
amazing.
That's the truth.
Are you?
Oh
That
my
is the truth.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, and my dad grew up in Inkster, just outside of Detroit.
It's a Michigan show.
I lived in Livonia when
Livonia. Oh wow. Wow. So we probably are in the same gene pool.
This is the
Wait a second.
Michigan show.
So I can't marry all of
Yeah.
you then? Darn it.
Or if you marry one of us, you're marrying us all.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're
So-
watching and you've ever wondered where they're shipping it, today it's Michigan.
It's Michigan, right?
Today
they're
we
shipping it to
ship
Michigan.
Michigan.
Lawrence Hatton.
Oh, we should have brought Ty on.
Oh my God. Should I see if he can join?
Yeah, bring him in.
You guys want someone? Hold on. Hold on.
How
So,
about that?
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
I moved from Michigan
Talk
when I was like
amongst
6 months
yourselves.
old. Yeah, like 6 months old. So I don't remember it too well, But I, grew up in New Hampshire. Went to school for a little while as an opera and a voice singer, and that quickly beat the hell out of performing for me. And I ran away and made a career in publishing. And about 20 years ago, my daughter was born and surprised us with a giant tumor on her neck, and was spent about a year in the hospital, and then repeatedly was hospitalized over the next 15, 20 years, nearly dying a bunch of times. And on the day that they were going to kill Obamacare in the Senate, it was the 100th day of one of my daughter's hospitalizations. And I saw a thing online from my friend Alyssa Milano, who I didn't know at the time, just saying, if you want to do, if Affordable Care Act is helping you, make a quick video, tell us why. And I made a video in the hospital room about being there for 100 days, and it got to her, she got to me. The next day it was on MSNBC and Bill Maher and all these other places. And suddenly I had a little bit of a platform to start talking about things. So I started talking about things and writing and doing a lot of things. Because the world is a strange place, that led me to Tara and a bunch of other people who are very dear in my life. But on the day of the Parkland shooting, Alyssa and I were working on a completely different social media activism thing, and then we're watching the reports come in of the shooting happening in Florida, and we're seeing David Hogg, who we didn't know at the time, nobody knew, just sort of doing that live reporting and saying we can't not be in this particular fight anymore. And by the next day, we had a group of several hundred celebrities and activists and gun violence prevention organizations banded together called No RA, aimed specifically at taking on the NRA and taking their influence out of politics. And we spent a lot of time doing activism together and doing successful things and lobbying Congress and making big sort of social media plans and driving a narrative around issues that we think are really important. And in the last 2 years in particular, that's been a very big part of the work that we do, in mobilizing the stories around issues that affect our lives, and bringing together people from activism and micro-influencers to big celebrities in the arts and really effective organizers and people who are elected officials, and bringing people all into one place to sort of manage how we can tell our stories, how we can most effectively move social change in the direction we want to move, doing all that kind of stuff. And that's sort of where I find my life these days is going from Navy guy and opera singer and humble beginnings in Kalamazoo to humble present in Massachusetts, but still fighting the fight. So.
Oh, you're so good at it. And today's a really big day. We would be remiss in not talking about what a big day. I hope we have some positive, sensible gun laws passed in this country. We're very good friends with Fred Guttenberg, who lost his daughter, Jamie, who I caught just the tail end of him on MSNBC today. And all sensible gun owners want sensible gun laws.
Of course they
So
Yeah.
thank you for all that you do, Ben. You're amazing. And then we'll get into how I abuse you at cons in a minute.
It's just at cons. This is going to be a whole show.
Also, let me just say one other thing. If you guys ever are curious about something political, I'm a little Canadian girl. Ben knows everything about everything. You can't stump him at all. He's just so brilliant. You really are. So
I am stumped by Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
totally stumped. Completely stumped by her. Don't understand it at all. So
That's
there's one thing. Yeah,
that's your first mistake, trying to understand. Yeah.
Okay.
I truly never expected the Antichrist to be a bleach blonde. I just didn't.
Yeah.
By the way, Ben, how is your sweet baby girl? How is she?
She is just finishing her freshman year in college right now, and she's doing, saying it's a little dangerous to say out loud, but having a really good year and a half stretch. We haven't been in the hospital in a long time, and so she's doing great. Yeah, she's really.
That's awesome to hear.
Oh,
Papa.
This just came out of nowhere. I just remembered my last pre-COVID thing, Rob, was supposed to be going to see you in Boston at the City Winery.
Oh my God.
And I had gone to see Morgan James the week before that, and I saw that you were going to be there, and I went to buy a ticket. They said, you can't buy a ticket. We're going to be closed down, we think. And so they wouldn't let me buy a ticket to come see you. So you were it was
now's your
almost
treat.
was, but yeah.
At least you like somebody on here.
We're in touch now. We are booking all sorts of shows.
Nice.
In the City Winery in Chicago, New York, and Boston. We've been there twice, and we're going to come back. So
cool.
It would absolutely be a privilege to bring your daughter, anybody you want. You name it.
Oh,
is the live show? Is the live show the Yakko Pinky stuff that you're doing?
Yes, it's all the music of Animaniacs
with Randy Rogel, who wrote
"It's a great big universe, and we're all really puny. We're just tiny little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney,"
and all that other stuff.
You just broke the internet.
Ben, that show, Warner Brothers gave us a licensing deal that's just been wonderful. But we do it with 80-piece orchestras, and then Randy and me on a piano. And the audience, the breadth of the audience is 8 or 9 years old to 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it would be fun to see you in a bar, right? I thought that would be fun to see you in a bar.
Oh my God.
So,
Listen, once Yakko has a couple of pops, it's pretty goddamn.
Right.
I love that so much. I mean, and it's true. All ages are fans of the shows that we do. So let's go a little bit into some Comic-Con experiences. Anybody can start of a favorite.
Wait.
What?
Wait, Rob, sing us a song.
You're gonna make him work?
Rob, sing us a song.
Okay, you guys probably, and I'm sure your viewers know the Countries of the World song that Yakko.
Oh my God! I was hoping you were gonna sing that, but I wasn't gonna ask you because I know what a big deal it is. Are you gonna do that?
There's a new lyric that has been written that Randy, who's so freaking prolific, wrote because I think he had an extra 11 minutes on a Tuesday. I used to get shit from people saying, Mr. Paulsen, that song is no longer relevant. And I just, Jesus, come on, don't give me that nonsense. It's become kind of an iconic little tune. But Randy said, no, you're right. There are a bunch of countries that have sprung up since then. So check this out.
Montenegro and Bosnia, Herzegovina, the Soviet Union is gone. South Africa, Georgia, Moldova, Latvia, Belarus, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, hey, Kazakhstan, hey, then the Tajikistan too, hey, Turkmenistan, hi, Kurdistan, Armenia, Tonga, Palu, Lithuania, Serbia, Kosovo, US, Samoa, the Balkans, Brunei, Macau and Crimea, then Eritrea, Ukraine and Estonia, here's Macedonia, New Caledonia, Eastern Slavonia, Ivory Coast and Cape Verde, Andorra, the Solomon Islands, Dubai. How about that?
Wow.
I think that's our first ship drop. I think that's
what?
I think
amazing.
I think so. I think
thank you.
I think I choose you, so let's just close that deal. Okay, good. Amazing. Oh,
There goes my union membership. Thanks, Rob.
Active background work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Boy.
Okay. Everybody share a favorite con story. You can go in any order that you want. You can tell one or two favorite stories.
Boy, I got.
Wait, Brad Norman, have you been to a Comic-Con yet?
No, I have not. No.
Okay, then wait.
Well-
Your story is gonna be on, because our show's about shipping. Any
Mhm.
like fun fan art you've seen on Rocky and Bullwinkle, or anything fun you want to share, or any fan stories online that you've had?
Yeah, well, gosh. Let me
You can think about it if you want.
Yeah, let me think about it.
All right, Robbie, take the con question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as Tara said, we all have. It's an embarrassment of riches. One in particular, and I think you guys all know this. There are often people on the autism spectrum really connect with animated characters. So many of them. Having had the remarkably wonderful experience of meeting many autistic folks, often people who are in their 30s and are brought by their sweet mom and dad or their siblings, because with their particular autism circumstance, they will always require some help to do the normal mundane stuff that we all take for granted. But I'll be damned when it's Harley Quinn or Michelangelo or Beast Boy or Winnie the Pooh. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, if that particular character is what connects with that sweet young person, those experiences for me are transformative. I mean, I learned that my work is about way more than a paycheck, an action figure, a rating point. I have had one in particular that sticks out with respect to folks on the spectrum. A young man about 30. This was in your nape of the neck, Ben, over at it was New Hampshire, a couple of years ago, and a young woman, probably 35. Her brother, whom she brought to this event, was standing in line, and she came up to me to say, "Mr. Paulsen, I just want to let you know that's my brother, and he's having a hard time right now, but it was really important that he meet Yakko." And we drove, I don't know, from Pennsylvania, way too far, but he lives for Yakko. He struggles with really brutal anxiety and agoraphobia. And the poor man, I mean, as I said, about 30, but he was maybe 20 or 30 people down the line and was, crying, rocking back and forth, doing this. I mean, it was really, really difficult to watch. And the sister wanted to, not warn me, but just prepare me. I said, no worries. We've all done this a zillion times. I see him. I understand. I know what's going on. Thank you for letting me know, but we'll get it took care of. And bless his heart, that sweet young man, his sister gave me a quick backstory. She said, now it's a long ride, Anthony, and it's about 4 hours, but if you want to go, I'll take you. And Anthony knows going into a situation like this, what's going to happen to him. He knows going into it, it's difficult, but I don't know that he still knows who I am. It's not the issue. It was about Yakko, and he wanted to go. So his sister brought him, and bless his heart, I mean, it was hard to watch. But as a side note, what we all love about the inclusivity and the nature of these wonderful events is that no one looked sideways at sweet Anthony. In fact, people went out of their way to say, hey, dude, I'll hold your place in line if you want to go outside and get a breath of air. And it was exactly what we would hope that normal life is like, where everybody is accepted.
That's right.
He was there going through it just so he could meet some frickin' knucklehead who does Yakko's voice. So by the time he makes it up to me, and I've got a series of photos, they might not translate so well, but anyway, his sister took these 3 shots, and she's shooting over my shoulder as Anthony walks up. He finally makes it. And I mean, the guy's perspiring, weeping openly, rocking back and forth. apologizing. And he makes it up to me. So I put my hands on his shoulder. I said, hey, buddy, hey, you made it. You made it. Okay. And so we started to talk a little bit. He kind of got his shit together. And then Yakko starts talking. This young man went from utter despair, you guys, to and was for about 10 minutes, as they say, neurotypical. That is to say that he connected immediately. He got the authenticity. All of his difficulties went away, just like his sister said it would. Just the reason that he put himself through that. And I will never forget it. But it is also not unusual, whether it's a character I've done, Tara's done, Brad's done, any of us, Greggy, we all have that experience, and it is profound in terms of the gift that we're all given, and the importance of the gift. It's just mind-blowing. That young man for the last 10 minutes.
You're so giving to them. You're lined up for hours and hours.
Isn't that something?
Thousands of people. I mean, just for the world who doesn't know, who hasn't been to a Comic-Con, which normally there is a con somewhere in the world every weekend.
Yeah.
Animation people are lined up all day. It's hundreds and hundreds of people, and you never are cranky. You're never tired. You're always giving and getting up and hugging, and you're just one of the good guys, Rob.
Well, thank you, sweetie. And that plays right into what I said a bit earlier. Everyone who does this, by and large, is like that. We get that it's not really about us. It's about the characters and the ways in which people embrace them, often in times of parts of their lives that are things that we could never even understand. But that young man's sister and in other circumstances, the parents walk away with tears because Jesus Christ, for 10 minutes, their kids are as normal as they would want them to be for 10 freaking minutes. And then you think about, what do they deal with every day? Heroic stuff. And to the extent that our little characters can get them out of that shit, I don't even know. So thank you for letting me.
That's the power of cartoons. It truly.
Totally.
Everybody together. It's all inclusive. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, your age, your creed, where you are. It's just, we all come together. I mean, look, y'all, I'm invited into this community. So if I'm invited in this community, you are.
Yeah, you were invited. I just don't know how you kept your card, like how you get to stay.
Yeah.
Like, how have you not been voted off the island?
Greggy is a cartoon. That's why we love him.
He really is. Can you imagine someone else playing Beast Boy? Like, what? No.
Never.
Right.
Well, yeah, you know what? I think I have an interesting perspective here because, again, like I spent 20 years working in commercials. I've done well for myself in commercials. Yeah. Nothing to sneeze at. And there was a time in my life as a younger man. Thank you. As a younger man, you know, the concept of a community within a specific area of acting, I would have probably had sort of a gut cynical reaction to that. I would have been like, oh, okay. Yeah. So we all live in an apartment together. Is that how we're, you know, I mean, there's a time in my life where I would have scoffed at that. But the truth is that I felt like I was almost having the fan experience when I was working on my show because I was so new to the whole process, you know, but I gotta say, I mean, what I even circling back to what Rob just said, you know, the fact that I've never worked with a group of actors that were so quick to support, you know, like that could see it, you know, see that you were unsure about something and just be on top of you in a second. In an on-camera situation, that might be more of a blood in the water sort of thing, you know?
Totally.
But with voiceover, I really did feel, maybe for the first time, a real sense of like actor community. Because everybody kind of went out of their way to meet me. Everybody kind of went out of their way to sit down right next to me and ask me if I had any questions. Like I really was, and still am to this day, pretty overwhelmed by the generosity of the people that I worked with in animation. And you're right. I mean, Rob, it's like that you're like sort of as a voice, you're sort of like the spinal column of this character,
Right.
but so much more of it
Oh.
makes the character, like so much more of it.
Some
and
fan
it's-
mail for Bullwinkle. Do people like tell you how much you meant to them and stuff?
I get maybe a letter or something, or an email like every 6 months or something,
Yeah.
it's okay,
I think a lot
I'm
of
gonna
people
keep sending
don't.
them, Brad. Don't you worry. I'm gonna keep sending those every 6
I
months.
think a lot of people.
I always figure I'm talking to Ben anyway.
I think a lot of people don't know, and your Instagram's super cute, and you post a lot of stuff with the moose. You're so good at that. I think. Can I tell you something? And this is, I would not just blow smoke up your moose, but you were so brilliant in that show, and that show is
Oh,
so
you're
brilliant. It's
really
just
good.
that people don't know where to find it. I don't know if it was well publicized, but especially season 2, by the way. You start episode 1, season 2, it's pure brilliance.
Oh, yeah.
It is damn
Weird
funny.
Al and like crazy
damn-
good
it is-
song
Where can we watch it?
on Amazon.
Fabulous.
It is damn funny.
Oh, yeah, you can watch it.
And it's seriously like, I've been in like 200 commercials. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
a lot.
not joking,
Yeah.
so, and I can't think of a commercial shoot where when I was done, I was like, man, I would love to go back and do that again.
Yeah.
Like every day, all day this week, like,
Yeah.
and with animation, it was really totally the opposite. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, now that once the show was over, once our show was over, I missed it tremendously.
I know, me
You know,
too. What a
and,
great cast.
And I think that it really is, we as actors, we like that opportunity to serve. We like that opportunity to serve an idea, a joke, a concept, a piece of artwork, a moment, but we rarely really have a great idea of what our impact is.
Ah,
Yeah,
know,
no, and you'll
beautifully
see when you
said,
start
man.
going back to cons. You'll see.
And so,
Ben.
but it makes me feel good to hear stories like what Rob just said, because I've had experiences like that within like my extended family over Christmas, somebody's cousin's wife would come up to me and, kind of tug on my shirt and be like, look, my little boy is really shy, but he like really loves Bullwinkle. Do you think, before I know it, I'm sitting down on a staircase next to this 6-year-old kid, and he's got a ton of questions for me.
Oh.
And he just wants to hear me tell dorky jokes.
I want to hear you tell a dorky joke as the moose.
yeah.
What's the best way to count your cows?
I don't know.
Why?
With a calculator.
Oh
funny
my
comedy joke is
god!
what that
Oh
is.
my god!
That's an antique. That joke's an antique. Be careful with it.
Fantastic.
That's the funniest I've ever heard you.
Oh,
That's really
Well,
good.
I'm telling you, man, you wait till you start going to conventions, because
yeah,
when
you'll see.
when you see people in front of you who are brought to tears by your character, and then you hear their stories. Often it's, oh my God, Tara, you're the voice of my childhood, and blah blah blah. Then you meet someone every event who through tears will say, but for Tara and her shows, or Greg, my childhood was in the shitter.
Yeah.
And I was in the foster system from the time I was 6 months old to 18. And it was brutal every time I had to go to a new home. But Mr. Paulsen, as long as there was a TV there, and now I'm fine. Here are my kids, my wife, we're all wearing our Pinky in the Brain t-shirts, because my wife knows what that show meant to me
Oh,
and got me through. I mean, I don't even know what to say. So
Yeah.
when you get to see that, Brad, it's just the most remarkable experience, and it's utterly authentic. And as Greg said, it has nothing to do with anything but pure joy and gratitude.
well, I
And
don't
it's
know if
mind-blowing.
Ben's experience.
Speaking of
was
joy and
pure joy, gratitude
Speaking
sitting
of joy and
beside
gratitude,
me. What?
I would love to answer some questions from our
I know,
live.
but wait. First, Ben has to answer the con question.
I'm just saying, get your questions in so we could answer them live.
The questions are waiting for us in the chat. Do you all mind hanging out a little long? It's been such a treat talking to you.
Sure, I'm
No,
good.
it's been great.
Okay.
Okay, so
forever,
we'll get to fan questions in a minute, but first
I mean,
want
Greg's
Ben
almost done with
Jackson.
his burrito. Why would we go
That's
anywhere?
good. That is a
Okay.
slow burrito.
We're
Okay,
not going
Ben.
anywhere till Greg finishes the burrito.
I love.
This is the biggest vegan burrito ever. By the way,
I
You're
just
like
the wait.
making an art house movie.
I just
Like right there.
I just muted him again.
It's like, it looks like some sort of like Finnish psychodrama
It's like-
that's going on down there. You know,
It's
just
the world's weirdest Italian. Like,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
veggie burrito.
like some kind of film school thesis. It's just like,
I like the Chip and Show with Greg.
I'm back.
At the end of the film, you
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
it's you that's the burrito.
Right.
It's always been
It's-
you all along.
That's so true.
Ah. Okay, Ben. Before this gets out of hand too much.
Oh man.
Share
So I
with
think
us.
this is going to be a little different because nobody knows who I am. I don't do any of this
I know.
nonsense. No,
I don't know who that is. Who is this?
But Tara sometimes drags me along with her to cons to berate and abuse me. And I get
Nice work
fired
if you can get it, huh?
40, 50 times a con. Well, I was actually hired in the first place. I'm just there to look good. But when I realized just how weird the world was, is that Tara, we were at a con somewhere, I don't even know where, but she had recently broken her foot, like shattered her foot in a million places.
Right,
and
you had the boot on.
40 fractures.
Yeah, you had the boot
40.
on. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so like we spent some of that con like going through the longest friggin' hallway on a wheelchair with a security guy who was not happy we had the wheelchair to get to a room that I think was right next to the room we started in. We had gone all the way the outside of the con to get there. And after that panel you were on, we went back and we were in the green room. And I think most people who go to cons might not know this part of it. But there's a green room, which is the weirdest place on the planet because there was a moment in that con where your foot hurt, and I realized that me and Maurice LaMarche are giving you a foot rub, while Bill Shatner is sitting at a table really grumpily 10 feet away. Jason Momoa is playing hacky sack behind me, and I'm like, what did I eat? This is,
Yeah.
and it's a very, very weird place to be that I don't think a lot of fans who like come to cons know that it's there, that people are just kind of sitting around eating buffet food and like playing cards on tables and being like, I guess I got to go to my next thing. There's like a department store break room.
Yeah.
Right, kind of feel to it. Just kind of hanging out there before your shift starts again.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a coffee pot model from 1991.
right. Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
step
it's a strange
outside.
thing.
You step outside in the big, convention area, and you feel like you're at the Manelli guest wedding reception.
right. Yeah.
Greg
that
Sipes
was
is
a good time,
microwaving a
actually.
burrito.
Yeah. Tara
Yeah.
charged like $50 an autograph at that wedding.
Yeah, and $1,000 to rub my foot.
That's
But
true.
Ben also, I when the kids come, a lot of times they're a little bit quiet to say their name. So like a handler will say, what do you want signed? Do you want it specific? And so Ben would get people putting like their names on sticky notes.
Yeah.
You guys know this on Post-it so that you get it right. Because half the time you're like, ooh, let me sign this one of a kind maquette with the wrong name. I don't know how many times that's happened to you. But then I started like just sticking them all over Ben's head and body. Anyway, we have so much fun at the cons. I just love, I miss that
Me
so
too.
I
much.
have a public service announcement.
Uh-oh, what?
A public
What?
service announcement from Del Taco.
What?
Make sure you eat your vegan burrito really slow, bite by bite, and enjoy every bite.
Are you- You know what? I'm just letting you know, if you start teaching people how to poop, I'm going to mute you permanently.
Greg's not going to be done with that burrito for 3 more days.
No, but seriously though, chew your food, y'all. Like
Chew-
take your time, savor it, watch Chip and Show, eat a vegan burrito, and like just enjoy yourself.
I love it. And listen, we're taking advice from a talking chia pet. It's fantastic.
Do any of you guys want to be my new co-host for the Ship It Show?
Listen,
Is that position open?
Well, I hear that the work hours you can kind of show up when you want. Make sure you get your lunch first.
Yeah, you can eat your lunch on camera. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tease.
No
I'm
need for clothes.
gonna tease a little fun to the crowd. We did do a Danny Phantom episode that's coming up.
Oh, cool.
And Mr. Greg Sipes was like to Butch, so what's the show about? I was like, I'm going to kill you. You know nothing. Tyrell Crosby's come to play. Robbie, show him your hat.
Represent
Tyrell Crosby, offensive lineman, Detroit. Yeah.
I mean, they suck. I'm a
See, that's Ty's a lineman for the Detroit Lions.
Ty plays for the Lions. He came to say hi to you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ty. And listen, I'm out here now. We got Matt Stafford has come out west to play for the Rams. And but you know what? To this day, as I said, I grew up wanting to be a hockey player so bad. I still go out and bang around with my buddies. And to this day, when I cut myself, I bleed red, just like the frickin' Red Wings, baby. I'm all about that. In fact, one of the defensemen, Danny DeKaiser, played. He's a Kazoo Bronco. He played at Western Michigan.
There you go. My favorite thing about the Rams was this past year they had this slogan called "This is the Rams' house."
Yeah,
and it wasn't even their house. Like everybody else in LA, they're renting.
Do you think they were trying to get squatters' rights to just like take the?
Yeah,
they like saying it, but they can't really afford to have a home.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like this is the Rams' house on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Let me see.
Okay, we're gonna go to some fan questions before we run out of time. Alex Sermon says, "Rob, do you think anyone could do voice acting even at a young age?"
Sure, acting is acting, and I can tell you, my young friend, that the same Jones that I have to do my gig at 65 years old is no different than it was at 11. And that is the God's honest truth. I've been rich and I've been poor. Rich is way better. And there's a different vibe when you're doing it to pay the bills and buy cat food and toilet paper and pay for cars, for sure. But the excitement to create, and as Brad suggested, when you kind of go, no, there really is something I want to go back and do again. I can't wait to go back to work again. It is that has never gone away. So of course you can act when you're young. That's when you should. Whether or not you make a dime at it is not the issue. Like a lot of us, I came to LA ostensibly to do commercials, music, TV, and movie. That's what I was doing. But as often is the case in life, one puts oneself in a position to get lucky. And luck is absolutely when opportunity meets preparation.
Right.
So I was prepping myself, riffing in characters I create, doing bad impressions of somebody else's good impression, singing in characters for the noblest of reasons that made my soul happy. Then, when the opportunity presented itself in the guise of animation at 30-something years old, I was prepared. And boom, that's where it goes. But it doesn't have to be limited to show business, my young friend. It's about doing what you want to do because it just makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not that ends up being a way in which you pay your bills is not so much the issue as finding a way to keep cultivating that joy in your life. And so, yeah, go for it, kid.
Yeah, I started when I was 13, and I'm at least 10 years older than that.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I was gonna say.
Story with the NFL. I mean, like, right?
What would you say? He was eating. You know what? Maybe can you put down the burrito long enough to ask a question?
I have literally like 3 more bites left.
Don't do it, Greg. Don't you dare put down that burrito now.
Oh my God!
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
It's gonna be like Rudy.
Your whole arc, dude. Your whole arc.
Once the burrito's done, the live feed is over. So I'm gonna savor it.
Do you want to ask Ty a question while your mouth's not full?
Don't you find it similar with in your profession, like the same concept as far as doing it because you love it, and then all of a sudden you get paid for doing what you love?
Yeah, and at least when you go step up from like college to it's like NFL, you can kind of see what guys are in it for the money, what guys are truly passionate, and the money is just a side thing. which is like a nice we're getting paid, but you're also doing what you love. And those are the guys that really set themselves apart because they're the guys who played 10 plus years. They're always doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Easily the one guy I can think of that does it better than anybody else is Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Right on.
I can tell you that is not dissimilar to any world-class athlete. Obviously, the odds of any of us being here, we're able to make a living doing something that we would do for free is so unusual.
100 to 1, easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be a professional actor, to be a professional athlete, the odds are astronomical. However, check this out. My hero was always Gordie Howe for obvious reasons because I'm from Detroit. And okay, I got to know Gordie and his wife, Mrs. Howe, very well through charity events and hockey and all that. But check this out, you guys. You made such an interesting point about guys being in it for the money. There's no problem. I'm a capitalist. I want to make a lot of money. But here's an example of what Gordie Howe said one day, and I'll never forget this. This is when Gordie Howe went from being my idol to my hero. And there's a difference, and it happened in 5 seconds. I was sitting next to Gordie at an autograph event in Vancouver. And a young man, after waiting an hour and a half in line, about my age maybe, came up and gave Gordie a puck, asked for his signature. And we'd been signing for about 2 hours. Gordie at this time was probably about 65. So he probably signed 1 million autographs by this time. And this is such a great example of what you were speaking about earlier with respect to doing it because it's something you just can't not do. This young man said, "Thank you so much, Mr. Howe, for signing my puck. Your hand must be getting really tired." And Gordie Howe put down his Sharpie and looked right at that young man in the eye and said, "It's my pleasure, son. I've worked too hard for this privilege." How about that?
Yeah.
He still viewed it as a privilege. This is a guy whose signing bonus in 1948 was a Red Wings hockey jacket. And at that moment, he remembered, I'm a farm boy from Saskatchewan. It is a privilege for me to be here signing a puck for you. And he never thought anything other than that.
Yeah.
That is a remarkable thing, to never let the ethos of why you live the life the way you do get in the way, or rather let money get in the way of what you're about, and how grateful we are to be in a position that so few people have.
It's such a great responsibility and blessing to be in these positions. Entertainers, creators, as artists, as athletes, to have the fanfare of everybody, people wanting to connect with us and listen to us. So it's their absolute pleasure to give back and to honor our fans. That's what the Shipper Show is all about. That's why this is so cool to have you all on, so you can express these souls watching that we really do love you and appreciate you, and we wouldn't be where we are without you.
That have questions that we're ignoring.
I'm just saying, I'm done with my burrito, so I'm wrapping it up.
Oh, okay. Are you done since you finished your burrito?
I'm gonna wash my hands.
Okay,
I don't even recognize him.
Rokan wants to know, when you're performing a role or a recurring one, is there a certain mindset you get into? So I'd say for Ty, who just left the room, we'll make him answer about mindset for games. Ben, maybe for you, you've been doing some good TikTok stuff, and you are a big part of Sorry Not Sorry with Alyssa Milano. So anything you want to talk about, like in that way, about getting your mindset, and then of course Brad and Rob, if you're getting into a character, what's that mindset? Ty's got goodies.
So this is my helmet from last year.
Oh, that's so awesome.
You can tell it's a Detroit Lions helmet because there's nothing scuffed on it at all.
Okay, take it easy.
No
Take it easy.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, something happened in shipping.
That's a real Inkster response. That's a real Inkster response to
Just
that.
look at that. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
My game ball when we beat the Massachusetts team.
Oh.
You know, that's always been a weird thing to me, is this regional love for sports. Is like, the sports ball team from near where I live is better than the sports ball team from near where you live.
Where most of the people who play on the team aren't from there.
Yep.
Right. It's so weird.
Got my
That's the same
Honolulu
guy.
crew.
Ooh,
Detroit.
Will
Aw,
Man.
there's
Love mine.
Hey,
Scuggity.
buddy.
Love-
Brad, tell us what your mindset was when you would do Bullwinkle.
Honestly, again, I really think of it in terms of, it's funny how many times I go through it in my head when I'm reading animation, and I think, how would I do this if it was live action? You know,
Mhm.
like I mean, to me, they're moments, they're moments, and for that character, the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. They're just in a moment. They're either trying to get their point across, or they're trying to understand something, or they're trying to eat that ham, or whatever it is, but like it's
So
the most
random.
important thing. And yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I try to do is I try to come up with, I definitely try to think about like pre-life and post-life to a line, so like, a lot of times you'll hear me kind of go, wow, or something like that, because I'm building up to it. I try to put that in there if I can, but more than that, I try to come up with at least 3 or 4 ways to say a line, just for variety,
Good.
so there's because there's that chance that, like when we recorded Woody, that you'd be in the studio by yourself, just kind of making Chilly Willy noises for 3 hours, so
Yeah.
you're not necessarily, but that's how actors feel, I think, when they're acting toward like a tennis ball that's going to be a CGI character 6 months down the line.
Right.
Totally.
You have to use your imagination.
Yeah,
You always have to when you're acting. You
Yes.
always have to use your
So I
imagination.
mean, one thing I think, if I was going to give somebody advice about mindset, I would say, in a way, you have to live like your characters. You can't bring any of the bullshit that you're dragging along with you from the outside life, like into an acting situation. You got to get rid of all your baggage, like whatever problem it is, landlord shut the water off or whatever it is. You cannot allow it to bother you or stinkify what you're trying to do with your character.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to live my life like a cartoon character, man.
Yeah,
I don't-
and it's and listen, just as adults, we have a hard time compartmentalizing things that happen to us.
You are so right, Brad. And I'm sure, like
100%.
Rob said, we've all been through a lot of shit together, and a lot of that shit goes on while we're doing a show. I've
Yeah,
cried behind a music stand and then got it
Oh my
together
God.
for, Yeah, you're right. You gotta be in that moment.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's my
How about
advice.
you, Robbie? Is there any particular character that had a fun mindset for you that you want to share with the world?
Well, certainly they all do. I mean, honestly, this whole experience, even today, it's just an embarrassment of riches. It just gets better and better. To Brad's point, it is really, I think, any acting is about being utterly unself-conscious. You cannot let ditto everything Brad said. I have been almost a victim of my own ageism because I was concerned that I might have been too old. In fact, that's how important this issue is that Brad brought up. When I got the audition for the 2012 TMNT over at Nick with Greg, my first reaction when my agent called was, well, do they know who I am? Not out of arrogance, but because I knew that there were half a dozen other iterations of Ninja Turtles that had nothing to do with the original voice cast. And I was 55 years old, and I didn't want to get into the audition and have them go, oh shit.
Yeah,
He was Raphael. Well, he's here. Let's throw the old guy. But it's not false modesty. I was just like, but what I had forgotten was that nobody cares about this. Nobody cares that I got wrinkles. Nobody cares that I'm a skinny old man. They care about whether or not I can perform the character. And I had to get out of my own way. And this is after having done it for decades. I had to remind myself, the only people who got a problem with your age, you idiot, is you.
yeah,
So if you're going to go in there with that, oh my God, I'm 55, then don't bother. So as soon as I was able to get out of my own way, I did just what Brad suggested. I focused on the job at hand, and I got the goddamn job.
yeah.
Had I not been open to reminding myself what Brad said way more eloquently than I wouldn't have even gotten a call back.
Yeah.
So the hustle never ends. You have to learn to enjoy the hustle, and I do. I love the whole experience of being with my friends, my new friends, my old friends. And I take the work seriously, but I don't take myself seriously.
Super important, right?
I really don't. And it is important. The opportunities that present themselves to us are so great. And we asked for this position. So when people say, oh my gosh, isn't it hard? Isn't it hard to, well, I guess so. But I don't know any of us who had a parent who shoved a gun in our head saying, you better be an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
I chose to do this. Often people who choose to be a performer do so despite the protestations of people who love them. They lose a relationship. They might even get a divorce as a result of their desire to follow. Same thing with sports. It's hard, but it's a choice. And so when things go south, when I'm broke again, when I get 14 callbacks and I don't get the job, I feel sorry for myself for about 5 minutes, and then say, well, ain't nobody forced you to be here, Junior. So I reckon you better get your shit together.
Yeah.
You know?
Aww.
So your
Matt
Brad's
Rob,
points are so salient about all of that, about being in the moment, getting out of the way and saying, all things considered, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else because I chose this. And then when it works, it's just glorious.
This is why animation has touched so many people, is because the
Yes.
people behind it are such authentic, empathic souls. It's so
I
obvious.
think that's true, honey.
Beautiful.
It's hard to walk that line between the examined life and that like hypercritical part of your brain that tells you can't.
I actually think that critical part of your brain, and I tweeted about it yesterday, I don't know if you saw, but, if you're going to listen to a voice in your head, listen to the one that's encouraging and loving you today.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced that those other voices, Ben's going to hate me saying this, are yours. I think there are other forces around that you have to really be the one in charge of this vessel and decide, I'm going to, even if things are hard, sad, challenging, I'm going to be the one that prevails here, and I'm going to get myself there however I have to, and squash that little voice as if it's not yours anyway. It's just like a tick that you can just flick away and then it can't hurt someone else. But
and I know that there are people out there thinking, well, that's easy for you to say.
Right.
I've been here. I moved here in 1978. I didn't know anybody. You guys didn't either. It wasn't a big deal. It was where I had to go. I mean, it wasn't when I'm not courageous.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Jones. I couldn't not perform. And the only way that I would find out if I could play in the big kids sandbox was to go to LA or New York, and LA's got the beach, I mean,
That's right.
so these are choices we make, and we can always change them. But yeah, we all have that little.
Please don't change that choice, Rob. We'd really, really miss having you.
If you believe what you
the
can see,
sandbox.
you will achieve.
Amen. And look at Wingman. Wingman agrees with everything. He's so chill.
That's my boyfriend.
The highest form on the planet. Look at him.
My boyfriend.
He's
Look at him.
He's looking at you. He rarely ever looks at anything.
Hi, Scuggy. Hi,
Wow.
Scuggy.
Love Wingman.
Ben, what about you? Do you want to talk about like when you're getting into doing the podcast? Or
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is as a writer, right? And I think there's a lot to writing that's kind of similar probably to performing. And from what I remember of performing is that you really have to think of your audience and the layers of your audience as you're putting them together. And, you kind of want to bring everything that you have and throw it at this thing, but that's not necessarily the right thing for the people who are on the other end of it, and what's important to me may not be the important part of the thing that I'm creating, and knowing sort of what to filter out. And I imagine you guys have that a little bit when you have, say, a cartoon that's, both for kids and adults. It has a lot of the adult humor. You have to know where to like lean into the innuendo and where to like pull back on the kid stuff and that kind of thing. And I think there's a lot of that to writing. You have to be sort of that, you have to give room for your audience to hear the things that you're saying, and getting into that mindset of that it's not about me, it's about the other end of it. I think is a really important thing to do when you're creating anything, because it's not about you. It's, you're creating a thing and then you're giving it away to somebody else. And you don't want to give, like, I wouldn't want to give somebody a picture of myself necessarily, right? Like I want to give them the thing that they want to look at, like Brad, or Rob or Ty, and that's it. But
now I'm looking at Ty. I can't stop looking at Ty.
He's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Speaking of innuendo, you wrote on Foul American, which we've been talking about bringing back, right?
Yeah. Oh, that would be so fun.
It was so much fun.
That was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute to give shout out to potential
Okay,
ads.
you know what? It's just mute. Okay. We're done. Okay. Ty, just because this is such a nice treat that you're here, before you got here, everybody was talking about the fact that they were born within 2 miles of each other randomly.
So crazy. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Rob showed his hat, and I'm like, okay, we got to get Ty. And so since you're here, it's a special treat to have a sports star on the show. So maybe just share with the world how you got to where you got, and your story can inspire other people's too. He does amazing things. Just so you know, Ty works with. Well, you work with a billion different charities. I always see you tweeting good stuff and putting your time in with kids. You
That's right.
visited. I think you went to Dachau. Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So just tell people a little about your origin story.
Been playing sports wise. So my parents got divorced. Born in Bountiful, Utah, just right outside Salt Lake. Parents got divorced. Me, my sisters, and my brother and mom moved out to Vegas. I was like an angry child because of that. I'm like super, super destructive. And finally, one day, my mom was kind of over it, and she's like, "You're getting into sports." So she threw me into football when I was 8. And really haven't turned back since. My junior year of high school, Oregon stopped by, met their coaches. They all loved me. Did my 4 years at Oregon, which was incredible, especially for my last game, because somehow our last game was in Las Vegas. So it was like a home, like coming for me. But it was also the year of like during the October 1st shooting. So one of the coolest things is I went down to our equipment guy, Kenny Farr, who like him and I had a great relationship while I was at Oregon and still do. But I ran him with the idea of like if I could change my number to 58 because while I was at Oregon I was 73. He just like looked at me. He's like, "We're gonna get it done no matter what." So it was pretty cool to have like my final college game wearing number 58 to represent the 58 people that lost their life from October 1st, and then just being in my hometown to do it. That was my favorite story from Oregon. And then my second was there's this thing that Nike did with us. So if you guys heard of like the Dornbeckers shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dornbeckers Hospital reached out to Oregon, and there's 3 players and then 3 kids. So we all got partnered up with kids that overcame cancer. And the girl I worked with, her name was Sophia, one of the most creative people I've ever been around. Her and I got tasked with making the shoes and then the helmets for that game. But the coolest thing, she like gave me a piece of paper and she's like, "Here's a design of the helmet." And the helmet was blue. And I just kind of looked at it. I was like, do I tell her that we're green and yellow school and there's no blue? Me and the Nike guy, you kind of like kept thinking about it because she put blue because she wanted to represent the sky and the sky being the limit. And just like hearing her story and just listening to everything she overcame, like him and I kind of were like figuring out how it'd be possible to like incorporate the sky. So we ended up just making the whole helmets chrome to reflect the sky. But those were my 2 favorite stories about.
Fantastic.
And
Awesome.
this year, your shoe was for races.
Yep.
And you helped raise money for this organization that saves. They're so incredible. They raise money to represent the families who've been separated at the border in court. They give food and supplies to the kids in Trump's horrible baby jails, and they're an awesome organization. I was really happy that you chose them. We've gone really long, and the fans are dying to know, so we have to play. Okay, Greg, I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your stupid question.
Wait a minute, I was muted. I was muted the whole time.
Why did you have something intelligent to say?
20 minutes of propaganda down the drain.
We lost a lot of really good burrito chewing sound too, which is I mean
You
like
have
that
something
room
really
tone is going to be.
Okay, this is a very deep question because it's such a broad opportunity to just use your imagination. Ship, marry, kill someone
What did you
from
see? Here we go.
all of reality.
Can you guys see that?
Ben, you first.
Ben,
Okay,
who would you like to
so,
ship, marry, kill?
Like if we're talking all of reality, I thought we were
All
in a
of reality.
cartoon universe
Oh,
beforehand.
no,
but,
all of
reality.
Well, no, I
Oh,
think
man.
all of cartoons is
Hey,
better.
I'm asking the question. Come on.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I think my ship would probably be the same because this would just be wild for about 15 minutes, but it would be Toot Brownstein, right? Like that would be
You're gonna ship
would be-
Toot?
who wouldn't? I mean, like yeah.
Toot,
Now-
toot, toot. That was the best.
But-
There was an episode where nobody wanted to have sex with her, and people were like,
Right.
not me, not me. And then it went to Toot, and she's like, not me. She didn't want to fuck herself.
And yeah, so for sure, marry, if we're going outside of cartoons, like who would marry Michelle Obama a billion times over, right? Like I would just marry her. I do. And then kill TV's Brad Norman.
Oh,
It's like,
so you'd be doing the state of Michigan favor.
This got dark
it did.
fast.
And just oh my, he's still here.
That's how fast I wear off. That's how fast my charm wears off.
Wow.
That's how fast.
I just no, you know what? I think that there's a.
Yeah, you're unmuted. You're unmuted. Did you want to say something, Fred?
I'm just making sure I'm unmuted.
Why do you have something?
I have an evolution of the question. I have an evolution of the question.
Okay, go ahead.
So in the this is good. Okay, so instead of ship kill for the rest of y'all, we're gonna play sink the ship or get on the love boat.
Oh my God. Okay, now I'm gonna mute you. Okay.
Just for the record, I would only sink the ship if it was the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is this new game that makes no sense?
you're
What are you
double
talking
sinker?
about?
All right, back to the original question.
Okay.
Ship, marry, kill someone.
Okay, Okay, the way this game normally works is you pick a character in typically animation. It can be DC, it can be Marvel, it can be a Nick show, it can be anything you want. Which character in your mind would you ship, which means you want to like have a relationship, make out with, whatever. Which one would you marry and which one would you kill?
Oh.
That's
a really complicated game. Okay.
Where do the boats come in?
Yeah, we're just okay.
Right.
Okay, Robbie, go ahead.
I would marry Wonder Woman.
That's a very popular answer,
Yeah.
by the way.
Well, I would marry Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I would. What's the other one? Who?
Marry. Oh no, ship. Relationship. Like just, have a good time.
Just have a good time, maybe not Ms. Right, but Ms. Right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is the God's honest truth. Helen Mirren. I find her so.
Oh yeah.
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 For a good time. Just for a good time.
Yeah, and then one. Plus, I like Taylor Hackford. So, anyway, so the other side of and then the last one is who I would kill.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I would probably kill any one of the Teletubbies. Yeah, and I would do it gleefully.
Oh man, it's going to be such a hard day in Tubby Custard Land.
Poor Tinky Winky.
Everyone's like too sad to eat their custard.
Right.
Brad Norman.
Let me see. I would try to have a relationship with. I would try to have a relationship with Catwoman.
Fun. You'll have
fun. She's busy at night, and I like to cook.
Nice.
And she's
busy at night, and I like to cook.
Yeah.
Are you guys listening?
We're not gonna have to fight over the DVR. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Right.
She's gonna be out doing her stuff. As much as I'd like to admit I've grown out of it, I still kind of have a thing for moody brunettes. Yeah. I would probably marry a Powerpuff Girl.
Oh, would it be Bubbles?
No, it would not. I'm sorry. Again, it would probably be Buttercup, the moody brunette.
Right.
You know what? I thought I liked you, but now I changed my mind.
That's it. We have to figure out how to.
Unless you want to kill TV's Brad Norman too, we are not on this. Who do you want to kill?
Gosh, I don't even know who I'd want to kill. Maybe Chuck Woolery.
Oh my goodness!
Just fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you could take over his empire. You would step right into that role.
I mean, I got the sideburns.
You do. You could do it like right now.
Let's see a 2 and 2. Let's do Bullwinkle saying rock a 2 and 2 back at you.
Just 2 and 2 back at you.
You know what I'm talking about? Wasn't that the stupid stuff he said when he was on that Love Connection show?
Oh gosh, I mean, again, I don't even remember. I don't even remember that. Just like all I remember is how much he deeply offends me on social media.
I know he's the worst.
And how he
He's really
insisted for the longest time on social media that Rocky and Bullwinkle were Canadian, which is a very popular misconception.
Oh, we're from Frostbite Falls, asshole. Okay.
Yeah, we're Minnesotans. Okay, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Due south of Beaverton, eh?
Yeah, you're not Canadian, bud.
Okay, Ty.
All right. What? Sex, kill, marry, kill.
Yes.
Wonder Woman. I'm going to stop in Rob on Wonder Woman.
you guys are gonna have to fight over Wonder Woman.
That's okay. Listen, he wins. I love him.
Listen, Ty
I don't
wins.
care.
Ty
Any
wins.
young man that is working on behalf of the Detroit Lions, the Motor City Cities, I am in.
I agree. I agree.
Love the Lions.
And it's not easy. It's not easy.
Oh.
Sorry, I reckon that last year was bad. I say kill Green Lantern because the movie was just that bad.
Wow.
Pretty rough.
Wow. You know, at least you don't.
I think Warner Brothers already killed Green Lantern. I think they're just never ever going to show that character again.
At least Ty didn't pick the wrong Powerpuff Girl. So.
Yet.
Listen, we've gone really long. We've kept these gorgeous people a long time. So I want to give you all an opportunity to share your social media and promote anything that you're working on, either show-wise or charity-wise. Now's your big chance. We're going to go in order of my Zoom. So Ben, please tell everybody where they can find you and anything you'd like to promote.
Sure. I am on Twitter and TikTok as @bjacksonwrites. And this is not anything to do with me, but I think it's really important right now. There is a great charity run by Sandy and Lonnie Phillips, whose daughter Jessie was murdered in the Aurora, Colorado shooting, called Survivors Empowered. And they bring together survivors of gun violence to go and help new survivors of gun violence who've lost family members to mass shootings process that immediate pain and that immediate grieving. And they've created this network of survivors supporting survivors. And it's really, really powerful and important. So they are Survivors Empowered that you can find anywhere. And if you want to support them, they're absolutely needing it right now.
And also, Sorry Not Sorry, people can see that.
Oh, yeah.
On any Spotify.
Yeah, so I produce Alyssa Milano, Sorry Not Sorry podcast. New episodes drop Monday, and it's available on every podcast platform you can find.
Thank you for everything you do, Ben. You're
Thank
such
you.
a damn hero.
Well done,
Brad Norman, where can the world find you?
I'm
Other than progressive commercials.
Yeah, I'm on a progressive commercial with Flo. You probably heard of her. I'm on Twitter at Brad in Action for all your Brad in Action. I'm on Instagram at BD Norms, and my Instagram is all over the place. I post a lot of art and stuff like that. I have a podcast coming out in a few months where I play Dungeons and Dragons with a 6-year-old.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real. There's a season 1 is up now. I take over as Dungeon Master in the second season, but man, it was one of the funnest things I've ever done. This kid is hilarious, and we let him call all the shots. It's fantastic. Yeah, other than that, I might drop a silly song or two, maybe one for Tolkien Day.
You're a funny singer-songwriter, and you're a great artist. I didn't really know you were a visual artist until this.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Wait, is your kick-ass painting behind you that you could show the world that you did?
I think we see some feet.
Yeah. Look what Brad Norman made.
That's cool.
That's breakfast having coffee. My most requested piece.
That's awesome.
You can see I really get into the darkness, like darkness of things. Thematically, I'm a Francis Bacon of my time.
Francis Bacon.
Somebody just donated on the chat, so we have to say hi. Thank you to Sinor Busy Man. So I think we'll dedicate today's charity to the one you were just talking about, Ben, because that's really beautiful. We have a lot of friends that lost kids. So anything that you guys donate in live chat, we'll read you guys out loud right now in the super chat, and otherwise we'll put the links to donate underneath the video after we. And just so you know, when you donate to this super chat, whatever charity we're working on gets 100% of it donated. Everyone else here is just here to entertain you for love and give you support during these crazy times. So thank you, everybody. Rob Paulsen, where can everybody find you? What would you like to promote?
I am on Twitter at Yakko Pinky, one word, YAKKOPINKY on Twitter. TikTok, I am Rob Paulsen 311, PAULSEN, Rob Paulsen 311. Facebook, Rob Paulsen -voice actor, and Instagram, Rob_Paulsen. Things that are very important to me as a recent throat cancer survivor. I'm the spokesperson for the Head and Neck Cancer Alliance. So you can go to headandneck.org to be aware of things that you can do to help yourself and people you love. And also Boo to Bullying, BOO, the number 2, bullying.org are 2 organizations which I'm very privileged to be involved. And honest to God, all of you, thank you so much for letting me do this. What a pleasure. And Ty, go freaking Lions. I am in for the long haul, baby. So thank you. And all of you, as we've said many times before, that laughter is the best medicine. And the cool thing is you can't OD and the refills are free. So for Christ's sake, laugh from your soul every day, kids.
Robbie, you are such
Good
a
advice,
hero.
man.
Yeah.
What a
Wow.
we
We love you,
it's such an honor
Robbie.
to have you on. You're such
My
a
great pleasure. And
fucking
you guys
rock
all
star.
stay healthy.
And thank God you're okay.
Oh, I'm
we didn't
fine.
talk about your cancer, and it was you kept it to yourself for a long time. In the beginning, people didn't know; they just thought you were getting thinner. And you know, when one of our own are in trouble, like we love each other a lot in the voiceover community. It's real love, and thank God you're okay. Thank God those pipes are okay. We love you so much, Robbie, and of course you're taking your survivorship and putting it towards helping other people.
Thank
You're
you,
just
sweetie. Well,
extraordinary.
we're so incredibly blessed, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
no, never has the phrase "we're all in this together" been more true. We're dealing with it
Amen.
right now. We're literally
Amen.
speaking to people all over the place. So,
Yeah.
all of us, at your and Greg's kind invitation, have made each other and a lot of other people just happy.
Aw,
And
that's what it's about. That's
it
what it's
is
about.
it's about.
It's
So,
That is what it's
about.
all about.
you know,
Yeah.
that and Detroit Lions football. That's really what.
Speaking of Detroit Lions, Ty, tell everybody where they can find you and anything you want to promote.
Both Twitter and Instagram is at Tyrell Crosby. And then since I talked about it earlier, I'll just say Dornbecker's Pediatric Hospital, and it's just something I've worked with so much, and all the people there are all amazing, and just what they do is great. So.
Oh, all right. You'll text me the link and we'll put it on the show afterwards. Guys, we went long. I love you. We're going to all dance while we say goodbye to Sammy's theme song. I expect to see some movement. Go, Ty. Oh, there was a super chat donation from Liz Sandberg. Thank you.
Liz.
Thanks, Liz Sandberg.
Super chat.
Take care, you guys.